prepare yourself to receive the blessing of the tentacle! Hello, my fellow hunters, and today specifically, my fellow enjoyers of Greatsword Update 3, and it continues to deliver delicious damage to us with Arch-Tempered Nu Udra and his Gamma armor. It is quite spectacular. Now, it's spectacular for essentially every weapon, but for us, who can now properly capitalize on resentment thanks to Shadowbringer and its just all-around magnificence, yeah, we are in for one hell of an upgrade. In fact, I think this might be our single biggest set jump throughout Wilds. It really is quite ridiculous. To have a little quick go over before we actually get to the sets then, it chiefly comes down to this chess piece, 2 level 3 slots worth of skills, so 2 Wex or 2 Agi with 2 counterstrike. This is a +4 on valuable skills we need that are hard to get, while also giving us Lord's Soul contribution as it's an Arch-Tempered group skill piece. That is amazing. You know what else is amazing? The gloves. 3 whole resentment, so now that we care about using 2-set Bale since Title Update 3, resentment's just kind of built in a little bit. Now that we can use resentment properly thanks to Shadowbringer Red Health, well, getting to 5 of it would have been quite good value, but we couldn't really do it in any meaningfully efficient way that didn't make the set worse while maintaining Lord's Soul. Whereas now, obviously, we can, because these gloves are immense. So yeah, get excited for this. But before we get to the nitty-gritty, well, Arch-Tempered Nu Udra himself. After Savage Omega was, let's say, a little bit of a trial, a challenge for Greatsword, one of the least offsettable monsters, no time windows to do full charge combos, hardly ever. I mean, there's a reason that we were the second slowest overall speedrun there, so it's kinda nice to be back facing a monster we can actually use our mechanics against. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely adored Savage Omega and I love a stern challenge, but I prefer a stern challenge that also comes equipped with tentacles. He is just an impeccable Arch-Tempered, the best they've ever done. His new moves are satisfying, they really elevate the learning curve of him while still letting you draw on that experience from all of the Nu Udra hunts thus far. He's just been absolutely amazing. I'm certainly still getting used to the new pace of his fight, adapting to his new combos and such, but I am finding it thoroughly satisfying on what is, as we all know, clearly the best weapon in the game. So, with all of that said then, let's get into this. A little chat on weapons then to start with. True Shadowbringer is, well, just our best greatsword. The reason for it is simply with Darkside active, it's essentially on average a 233 raw greatsword, which is obviously pretty damn good, but on paper, because of Artian's extra slots, that's not enough to make it beat Artian by itself, which is why you could kind of choose which one you preferred in base Title Update 3. But of course, Darkside gives you red health whenever you let off a charge attack, and because now we can effortlessly add in 5 resentment as you'll see without losing the Lord's Soul bonus, well, we need the red health from True Shadowbringer to come in to capitalize on that, and doing so results in higher heights than Artian can ever hope to reach. So while I'll still be showing you an Artian set, if you just don't care about resentment, you don't want to keep hurting yourself with red health and Darkside, you just want things to be simple, well, now we really have reached the point where finally, definitively, Artian has been dethroned! Oh, it's beautiful! So, yeah, let's get into these sets. As a reminder then, this was our previous best title update 3 set, using new 2 set Bale, which just adds an immense amount of damage to all our charge attacks. At absolute minimum, it's worth 5% total damage, but more realistically, it's up there at like 15%, which is just hilarious, and essentially, there's no real arguing it. We need to use 2 set Bale, it's just that good. And because then Lord Soul is that good, we're kind of a little bit pigeonholed here, but that's so alright. In any case, this was how it shaked up, and it needed a fairly strong talisman, as you can see, even though it's only rare 6. Thankfully, the talisman actually kind of gets a little bit easier thanks to Arch-Tempered Nu Udra. In any case then, this came out at a very respectable 492 EFR, plus the Bale 2 set, bumping it up a lot. So keep that 492 in mind as we go on then to our new best build. And this then is it. We have the Gamma Ray Dao, the helmet, incredibly efficient, and then the 2 shiny new pieces of Nu Udra Gamma, the ones I talked about that are just hero pieces, especially for Greatsword when it comes to the gloves. And then because we need Bale 2 sets, well, you have to put Bale waist and legs on. But fear not, this works to give you something very special. So when it comes to your talisman, your charm, and how you need to use it to patch the weapon, it kind of goes like this. Because Shadowbringer only has its own unique skill in Darkside and a 3-2-1 slot, yet we need 5 critical boost and 3 focus ideally, we need to use our charm to bridge that gap. Because we can't get more than 1 rank of critical boost on the charm, we do the full 5 critical boost in the slots available here. That's the most efficient. But then that leaves focus. So what you ideally want then is a rare 8 Golden Age charm that can give you 3 focus. So this one is the best one I have. I wish that special ammo boost was a 3rd focus, but ideally you want 3 focus plus a weakness exploit or any other 3-slot skill that we will use on the set. And then extra slots are always nice, but 3 focus plus a weakness exploit or another 3-slot skill we care about. That's your kind of ideal that you're going for, but don't worry, I will show you a crafted talisman version 2 that honestly really isn't that far behind at all. In any case, ideally then, what will happen here is, let's say I do have the full 3 focus, so that will leave you with 2 empty 1-slot offensive decoration spaces. The best use case for these is simply, well, what I will show you when I go over the sets, but the easy one to think about is simply expert duels. This will give us just 8% flat affinity, which is the most bang for your buck you're going to get out of 2 1-slots. We can't reach attack 4, which makes it inherently less valuable, and since we've got 5 crit boost anyway, another 8% affinity really makes itself known. So, just kind of so that's clear, we need our talisman to solve focus free, and then we are good to go. So, let's decorate this up. Here we are then. This is what it ends up looking like. Now, for me, instantly, I do have 1 focus decoration in here, so I can make the level 3 focus, because of course, as we saw, my talisman only has the 2 instead of the 3. If this was 3 fully, then this focus would be another expert, but in any case, this is how it lines up. We end up with full resentment, just from the armor, which is great, full weakness exploit, 3 latent power for some nice reliable bonus affinity, and remember, because the dark side self-damage from Shadowbringer counts towards activating latent power, even without Ray Dao 2 set, we have really good latent power uptime because we're just helping to activate it by attacking ourselves, which is excellent. We've got the required 3 counterstrike and maximum might, we've got that 3 recovery up, recovery speed space going on here, so we can heal our red health as quickly as possible to gain all the advantages from dark side and none of the disadvantages. Then we even get a nice little stamina surge and some constitution, just to help with max might uptime. If you have extra slots on your talisman like me, you can use them however you like. For example, if you're going against Archtemp Nu Udra, put 2 ranks of adaptability in here and make the fight a lot easier for yourself. In any case, this gives us a glorious package of skills that when we math it out, bring it all together, well, remember how the previous set was 492 EFR? This is 528. We have got a hefty amount of raw because now we're getting 90% uptime with 5 resentment. That might be a little generous, but honestly, from all of my experience, it's pretty much there. At the very least, it's 90% uptime on the attacks that matter, but even if you bring this down to like 60%, this set still blows anything else out the water. And look, we end up at 528 EFR. That is such an incredible gain from the previous set, and this still doesn't include the extra damaging waves being fired out by 2-set Bale, so the reality is even higher. This thing is so fun, it is so satisfying, and it is so powerful. It really feels like kind of Sunbreak Dereliction sets are back, and I really enjoy that. I love playing with Bale, Shadowbringer, and Resentment. It really feels properly greatswordy. So that's what you're aiming for then. Now, if you don't have a talisman that can give you 3 focus in some kind of combination or way, and remember, you could have even just 1 focus on the talisman and then use the 2 1 slots to finish it. Obviously, that means you'd be 1 weakness exploit down if you don't have the weakness exploit comboed with it like I do, or at least don't have the 1 latent power comboed with it, which also does work. Well, you can use a crafted talisman and still do very much fine. And that crafted talisman is a very simple swap. We take this set, as I have shown you, and instead of a RNG, all we need to put on is a latent power talisman. And that gives us 3 ranks of latent power, like so. We then have technically 6 on the set, so we get rid of this 1 now unneeded latent power decoration in the 3 slot. We replace that weakness exploit to get back to 5, and here we are. Now, obviously, we can't solve focus with the talisman now, so we have to come up here, get rid of 2 crit boost, and get ourselves a little bit of focus back like so, and just sit on 3 crit boost. This then is still an incredibly strong set, doesn't rely on an RNG talisman, and if you want to know the difference, well, this one comes out to a EFR of 512, which is obviously, you know, a little bit less than 528. You're losing 16 there, which is like 3% damage or so, but that's not like a huge loss to say you're not using any crafted talismans, never mind a god one. So this is your safe no RNG option. Next up then, we will look at a set using Artian for if you don't want to focus on Resentment, if you don't want to focus on Shadowbringer. That then looks like this. A very simple little swap. We have the Ray Gamma helmet, the Nu Udra Gamma chest, and then your Bale gloves and boots with Ray Gamma waist getting involved. This gives us the 2-set Ray, so we still get that nice latent power uptime, and we have, you know, 5 of it, so this set technically can reach 100% affinity, which is very cool with 5 crit boost, and your ideal talisman for it is that classic 3 attack to then make it 4 attack with the 1 slot and your agitator or your weakness exploit. Whichever one you have, put the other one in a decoration slot. Your Artian remains the same, your 225 with 1 sharpness roll and sleep, and then the focus handicraft and 5 critical boost. This still gives you a really nice solid set of skills. It's still an upgrade from base title update 3 because of that Nu Udra chest, and we still of course use the bale to get those waves firing out for the big damage this adds. This is very much the safer set if you don't want to play around the self-injury, but given you can essentially completely counteract it, and I'll remind you why in a moment, it's not that super worth. In any case, if you don't have a RNG talisman to make this work, you just want to put on a double weakness exploit or a double agitator and then adjust the decorations accordingly. This will come out at a EFR. This will come out then at 513 EFR, which is only 1 EFR more using a god talisman than the EFR of the using a crafted talisman version of the previous set. So as you can see, resentment really does start to make a difference in conjunction with Shadowbringer. But if this is more your style, then of course feel free to use it. The goal is always to have fun, and that's what matters. So here we are in the training room with the best set on, and as you can see, you get to activate that red health, hit incredibly hard with resentment active and everything firing at once, and it's just absolutely beautiful. But there's a couple things I want to mention. The first is, of course, the way to counter the red health damage that we're taking, and that's with simply an immunizer. We have 3 recovery speed in the set, so once you take a immunizer, well, you'll see that there's really no worries to playing with Shadowbringer. You let go of the attack, which instantly gives you red health, it hits, and now you're already back to full health, and that just keeps happening. Against really difficult monsters, if you just keep taking damage over and over and over, yeah, you can start to see a slow lowering of health, but for the most part, Immunizer is just going to have you covered for playing with Shadowbringer, so just have one every 3 minutes and enjoy. Then we want to talk Bad Blood, the set bonus of Nu Udra's Mutiny. This is just bad, it really is bad blood. We only have it as a coincidence because we're using 2 very valuable Nu Udra pieces, but just to go over what it does, well, you'll see that when I hit with Resentment active, which is going to be all the time in this set, that extra 20 pop of damage. It's low damage, it's got a cooldown, it's not great. But hey, it's a little bit extra damage, and given that we don't need ourselves the Raidao set to have latent power-up time because we're injuring ourselves, the duna set bonus doesn't help because it's just for mantles, well, the only Arch-Tempered 2 set that actually provides damage is Nu Udra. So although it's not good, it's by far better than the other 2 in our current state for adding to the overall hunt, so I guess that's kind of neat. In any case then, yeah, that is about that. I hope then that you have enjoyed this greatsword update for Arch-Tempered Nu Udra and his incredible Gamma set supporting our lovely, shiny Shadowbringer and Bale playstyle that we are now using with the awesome damaging waves, and just generally, yeah, greatsword, keep on greatswording. I do really hope and want the other weapons to get as many cool things as possible too, you know, everyone deserves that, but I can't deny that I am happy continually with my choice for these last 20 plus years. In any case, let me know what you think. Good luck with your set building, your talisman farming, your Nu Udra killing, and all of your hunting. I am sure I will speak to you very soon. Like you enjoyed this, subscribe and hit the bell for more. Consider supporting the future of the channel on Patreon down below. It does keep us going and it means the world. Until we meet again then, a goodbye.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.